Lindy, you've got some new players now, some new defensemen, some new forwards, new goaltender. How are you guys going to get better defensively? I know you talked in April about that you need to get better defensively. How are you guys coming into camp and going to accomplish that?
A lot of ways. I think first our guys have had a good summer when it comes to preparing for this year, understanding, what our needs as a team have to be. A little bit of structural, work we've done as a coaching staff on putting ourselves in a better place to try to keep the goals against down, because we need to be better in that area. I think we look at some of the bodies we brought in. We're going to have a healthy Norris, the two defensemen, Danforth, real hard body to play against. Doan, hard kid to play against. So the hardness, some of the one-on-one puck compete, I think will help us in that area also.
How disconcerting is the UPL issue? And on the other hand of that, tell us what your impression was of Georgia, knowing what you know from New York.
Yeah, UPL is a situation right now. We don't really know, where that's going to go. I think I'm optimistic that this is going to be, like a little short term, but still have to protect ourselves. Georgiev, obviously I had him when he was young in New York. I think he's proven that he's a good quality goaltender in this league. I think he's got something to prove. I had several long conversations with him before we got into bringing him into camp. And I think his head is in the right place, and I think he's a guy that we needed protection, and he'll give us that.
And the same time with Georgiev, how does this impact bringing him in the pecking order for the goalies, or is there a pecking order yet?
There's no. There is no pecking order because we don't know really. UPL obviously is the guy that we're looking at to be our goaltender. But with his situation, we needed another guy.
How valuable is it as a coaching staff to have the full camp compared to last year?
I think the full camp is going to be real important, where we're just going to stay in one place, and we've got a focus group. Like I said, our guys have had a good off season, and now we got to go out and go to work.
How much of a better idea do you have of what this team is and what it needs, and after laying the foundation and learning what you did from last year?
I've learned a lot, obviously. Last year, you need growth by adversity. I think as a staff we faced it, as players we faced it. I go back to the last 20 games where we were still digging in without some key players and playing some young guys. We played the type of hockey that would put us in the right place to be where we want to be when the year ends.
How much is that, the way that the season ended with that and the performance, how much does that encourage you going into this season?
I am really encouraged. First of all, like I said, we've had a good off season. I'm not going to overstate it, but we have. Some of the changes we're going to make, I think should help our team. I still look at our team. We've got not many teams have a 44 goal scorer, 37, a couple 20 goal scorers. We need to be better at keeping it out of our net than we need about scoring more goals. So, and I think there's a real good understanding, and where we lack the consistency, there's games where we were able to lock it down and win games. When you look at the league as a whole, when I think the number is 78% of the games were 1-goal games or 2-goal games with an empty net. It just tells you that in tight situations you have to be able to win those hockey games. We didn't win enough of them.
27 goals in JJ, is that where maybe Norris and a second-year Cooley can come in to maybe help account for that?
Yeah, definitely, Paul. I think we haven't even got to see. I think we will get an opportunity now to see the real Norris. A guy that's trained all summer, is healthy. It's his first year of training for several years because of dealing with what he'd been dealing with. We know that he's an elite player. I think you can recover some of the goals there. I think at the same time we've got a guy that is a real good two-way player 200-foot player, can play well defensively, a guy that we're going to look at almost in every situation. Kulik, I think, stepped in the absence of our top center, and he did a heck of a job as a young centerman. He was a big part of that last 20 games, and I think there was good chemistry there with the way he played in his own end, helping Tage out of the zone and freeing Tage up to be a little bit more up ice. That kind of connection was something that was important to us.
We have in Michael Kesselring. I don't think we've had a chance to ask you about him. I mean, obviously the right shot.
We have size, we have skating, we have physicality. I think we've got a player that is on the kind of the cusp of just becoming a really good two-way player in this league. I really feel that the right-handed shot defenseman will be just a big asset for us, moving pucks up ice, moving pucks to the neutral zone, low to high in the offensive zone where you're not digging pucks off the wall on your backhand. But we've got a guy that's really excited to be here, and a guy that I think can be a big piece. He's got size, he's got everything.
You have the unique perspective of having been here before and now back. So you're really the only person who's been aware of the 14-year drought, while these players haven't. What is your perspective? Do you address it? Do you approach it? Or do you flush it?
Flush it. I'll say this again. Some of these guys have been, just go to the organization. Some have been here for the full 14. Some have been here for half of it. Some players have been here for one or two. We have to just focus on one game at a time. We can't spend any time on it. The best teams in this league are going to lose 30 games.
You use Owen and Kesselring together a lot. Can Kesselring help Owen maybe become a better player if they're have a consistency together?
I look at our defense crew, and if you look at two guys you're putting on the ice that are 6'5", both guys can skate. I think the biggest thing I've tried to mention is the defending part. We have to be better. Every player has to be better in that area. Owen has to be better. Owen's growth through some adversity last year might come at the hands of Michael. He might be able to help him out. But I think Michael's at the stage where he understands what it is to be a good player in this league. And Owen is right on the tip of that too.
When you came in with New Jersey, you would often talk a lot about Dominic. Now you're his coach. You saw last year, he was a top 10 Norris guy. I mean, how elite, how much of a ceiling can he have here, and how much does he need to really help carry this team?
I think any elite defenseman is the guy you look to. And we've seen when the game is kind of on the line, what he can offer. From an offensive stance, from a defensive stance. He's a game changer. We know that. He understands that. I think there's parts of his game he's still working on to improve. And I think that's one of the qualities that a really good player can have is they're never happy with their game.
You said just a second ago you have to flush the whole 14-year thing. You have to do that internally. I get that. How do you figure this team's going to deal with it, though, constantly hearing it when you go on the road, when you hear it from fans here? I mean, it's going to be everywhere until it goes.
Win games. Win games will force other people to talk about, boy, you guys are winning a lot of games. Just win games. Play good hockey and win games. Talk is cheap. We're gonna have to just win games. I want to see where that's a tough team to play against. That was a tough team to play against. That was a hard game.
What you said a couple minutes ago about how close games in this league are, what gives you the confidence that your power play can be more effective this year and potentially help you get a little bit more production in those close games?
So power play percentages went up in the league too. I think the average was like 21.8. I look at the last 50 games. We got off to a terrible start. We are looking at improvement, like from the start of the year to where we're at. We got that improvement. We look at like a Norris stepping in now, how he can help us. what Zucker was doing for us. I think we found, and I believe this, that the best power plays have 5 guys that stay together almost the whole year. And now with Norris stepping in, we feel we've got a unit of 5 that we're looking at that can help us win hockey games. And it is a very important part of the game. And even though that first couple months, it wasn't good enough for us, we were still right there late November if our power play would have pushed through.
Lindy, when you evaluated your coaching staff in the offseason, made the decision to bring back all the assistants, obviously switched out the strength coach, I'm curious what went into those decisions to retain those guys and also to swap things out at the strength coach?
First of all, I wanted continuity. Second, I did explore the opportunity to try to improve the staff. I looked at last year, 2 new coaches coming in, myself and Seth Appert, and the continuity I want to carry from last year, this year, knowing that all of us have to be better. We all have to be better. Seth knows this group better. I know this group better. Marty is the one guy that's been involved with the defense, and there's a lot of areas that we can still continue to improve. But the thought of the continuity going from last year to this year, with 2 new coaches coming in last year, at the end of the day, I decided to keep it the way it was. And I believe in this group. I do. We spend endless hours. We know there's areas we need to improve, and we're going to improve them.
You're getting in that new strength staff. We've heard some guys talk about maybe this will be a tough camp, conditioning wise. Like
some guys think it's going to be a tough camp.
All of them. So.
So I've said we've had a good summer. I will say that I was just part of watching what was going on downstairs, and we've got quite a few players. I'm really impressed with where they're at after 5 months. And I've said when you have 5 months from the end of the season to now to make huge strides, you should be able to, if you're not a playoff team or a playoff player. I think we've got that. The initial, I've watched them skate now for a couple of weeks, and now just watching some of the testing down below. The staff has made an impression, the strength staff has made an impression on the players already.
What stands out about Murtka to you, and do you want to give him a long look in the preseason, like that a first rounder often gets, play him 4 or 5 games, maybe?
First of all, the focus will be making sure that the group we have, which I think is a real strong group, we get those guys in the right place. Really have liked the kids play in the prospect games. Really feel, I think everybody feels that this is going to be a good prospect for us. I have no real long-term plan. He's going to play. He'll play a couple of games, but the focus will be that the group we have, making sure that group is ready to go.
Dylan wants to be in the middle of the battle. We know that part of him. He's got a great shot. Do you see an offensive upside to him also as you look at him as a player?
Yeah, I think you never want to take that away from anybody. I think there is an offensive side. I think it is a side that sometimes there's surprises. It could be a good surprise for us.
Do you think your forward lines are going to look just with all the new pieces, and how quickly would you like to get things set to get chemistry before the season starts?
I think it is the one thing that we immediately start playing with, with a healthy Norris and how he looks, what your top 6 could look like. If you go back to the end of the year where we ended up with, Kalik in the middle and McLeod and Krebs, and then an Ostland or something that we're playing in those last. Now you're looking at Norris, McLeod, Kalik. That's gonna. I think it'll play out. I'm extremely optimistic about how Norris is going to fit in and who he'll fit in with, and but at the same time, you can look at, he could be playing with a Thompson if Tuck is, maybe on the line right below him. So, we've talked about different options. And when I look at it, I think all the options are really good. I think we have some organizational depth with our forward. We have guys that are going to push for, can I be, maybe one rung up in the ladder, which I think is a good place to be.
Because
Been
of the
talked
week
to-
and because of Norris being back healthy, do you just start the way you finished with Tage on the wing?
Initially, I think so. And I've had conversations with Tage. It doesn't matter to him. I think that at the same time, you'll see inside of a game, he'll still take face-offs in his own zone. He'll get some reps at center ice, knowing that we can use him there. I just liked his point production better when he was on the wing. And it frees up a guy like that who can shoot and get a little head of the play sometimes to get the extra opportunities.
Kevin talked about a end of camp retreat that the team will have. Apparently a bonding session. Can you expand on that?
I really just, we are going to really team culture. I don't even call it bonding. I'm just going to call it culture. How we want to treat each other, how we want to play, how as a group, we're going to come together as a family and get this done.
Feel the importance of behind this idea.
I did it in Jersey. Did it twice there. Felt it was really good for the group. I mean, not just players, but I'm talking equipment staff, our whole staff being together, knowing that we're all in this together. And it is going to be about having a couple sessions where we're going to work on stuff that is culture of our team.
Lindy, what is your vision for this team? What do you want to see on the ice when this team steps on it October 9th against the Rangers?
Hard to play against and play well defensively.
Lindy,
Last year,
go ahead, Joe.
see, I know last year you had a crunch time-wise to be able to cut down the roster. How quickly do you want to get it down to?
Oh,
what you're
crap,
gonna
you're
have?
way ahead of me now. I think last year was because of really because of the Europe and leaving that and not knowing the players. Now I really feel I have a better handle on these players. I will admit right now I didn't have a good enough handle on the players. I was optimistic about where some guys would be last year, and I was wrong.
What do you need from your third pair? I think we can kind of piece together who likely your top four guys are, understanding.
I'm not even going to get into pairs and third pairs, and I would like us to have 6 really good defensemen and 3 really good pairs. Whatever those pairs are, I think inside of a game, if you need more offense, you may see pairs switch. You might put your top 2 offensive guys. We might, if you're in a real tight game, you might see your top 2 defenders playing together a lot. But not concerned with that at all.
You mentioned culture and the team building you're going to do. How big of an emphasis was culture in some of these moves you made this offseason, whether it was Danforth, Doan, Kesselring? Everybody kind of describes these guys as culture guys.
Yeah, I think it's everything. You can throw Gertzen in there too, as part of that. He's a tremendous character guy. Hard guys. All these guys are hard guys. All these guys are incredibly hard workers. And you look at Danforth, how he got to where he got. It's an incredible story in itself. Players that have fought their way and have been able to get there and now can make a difference. And I think they can help us be difference makers.
Do you feel you had to make a change at the strength and conditioning?
Last year, during the year.
Lindy, you're going to have
I'm not going to put a date on, but during the year.
You're going to have a full training camp this next year rather than having to pack up and go to Europe halfway through. How will that help you kind of reiterate your philosophies and your culture this year?
You know, we don't have travel to worry about. We don't have, you know, activities that are abroad or traveling somewhere else. We get to plan our practice every day. We get to meet in our own facility every day. I think that alone has a lot of value to it.
Noticed in your conversations with Tage Thompson just about his mindset. I mean, he won gold at the Worlds. He was back here early. He's got a real shot at the Olympic team. Like, have you noticed a different look in his eye at all?
Yeah, incredibly focused. I think the Olympics is a big deal for players. I think it's a big deal for him. I think his experience at the Worlds was a great experience. You know, he played with Doan and Kesselring over there. They were part of that experience. So, you know, we have three guys that were. I don't care what event you're playing in, will you win it? It brings you together. It shows you that you can be a winner. So, you know, instantly I think Tage got a real good taste for that. I mean, the winning goals on the end of his stick. I think it'll drive players. It'll drive. It's driven him. I think he's another guy that's had a real good summer. So I'm excited for him.
Can he bring that attitude to his teammates?
What's that?
Can he bring that gold medal attitude to his teammates? Can that wear off on guys?
I think first and foremost you do it on the ice, and then you know you back it up with whatever you need after that, Paul. But I think when you have those qualities that you've just come off winning, I think he understands now. He was part of winning. You get a good feel for it. And it'll help push him. It'll help him be a guy that can help push his teammates.
What does Justin Danforth's journey kind of illustrate about him? I mean, there are very few guys like him in the league, really, when you look at where he started and where he's gotten.
It just tells you about a guy that never quits. Yeah, you know, he's had this dream, and the dream stayed alive, and you know, a heck of a player in Europe, in Finland, and then over in Russia, and then came back and, you know, made it, and has found a way to, you know, buy into whatever he needs to get done, whether it's be a guy that's extremely hard to play against, where the guy that you need to score goals. You've got a little bit of everything there. So his journey is a journey of willpower.
And for the letters, yeah. I assume your captain will be the same, but beyond that.
My plan for the letters, they will still stay the same.
Is there a universal trait over the course of your career with teams that have success, make the playoffs, and the teams that fall short?
You have to be able to defend. If you're gonna be a winning team, you have to be able to defend. You have to be able to score, but at important times you got to be able to defend where you know you can win a game that's 3-2 and you can keep it there.
Lindy, you said culture a few times. What is the culture of the Sabres this season? What do you want it to be?
Hard work and defending.
Zach Benson, obviously finished the season playing on the top line. Do you think that he's capable of that across 82 games?
I think he's capable of it. I think if you're in that situation, Zach had a lot of opportunities, but didn't finish. You know, I think his finish had to, you know, it has to be better if you're going to be in that situation. So, you know, I look at him. His playmaking ability was something that was, you know, really good with Tage. And how hard he plays was really good. But I think, you know, I look at some of the breakaways and some of the high-quality opportunities that, you know, didn't finish on, that I think if you're going to be that, you know, that top-line player, it has to convert into being in the back of the net. Thank you.